ball. He is the best league has ever seen.
Yeah, and Joe Johnson just plays with such a high level of confidence. He's a very underrated defender. You cannot think you can just go at Joe Johnson when he's on a defensive end. He makes threes from the corners with his eyes closed. Joe is just historically an incredible scorer in the game of basketball, period.
Let's take a look at the PNC Bank rosters for game number 1. Ryan Hollins providing some much-needed size and athleticism for the triplets this year. And for Trilogy, Amir Johnson, the co-captain, a veteran in the NBA, 15 seasons. And this year played for G League Ignite, a veteran presence for the defending champs in the Big Three. Well, we have a new third member of our team this year. Let's say hello to the former Ball Hawk captain, Brian Scalabrine.
Hey guys, right away I saw Joe Johnson. He said, Scal, we couldn't get one in Boston because a lot of people remember Joe Johnson got that 10-day contract with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were struggling at the time, but Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those guys said, hey, we looked up to ISO Joe. They're a little bit in awe of him. And then from that point on, the Celtics turned their season around, and everybody will remember the time where ISO Joe came back to the Celtics and had that bucket at the end of the game.
All right, Scal. Can't wait to see ISO Joe in his season debut. Key rules in the Big Three. Target score is 50. You must win by 2. There's no game clock. And foul shots, you get 1 shot. It's worth the number of points corresponding to where the foul occurred. So if a shooter is fouled shooting a 4-point shot, they'll get 1 shot from one of the 3 4-point circles each, 30 feet away. All right, let's do it. Season 5 underway from the Windy City. James White, first look, nails the 3.
And that's what happens when you start a game. You got to set play, your best play, because you want to start building some momentum to get this game off to a nice start. Nice call by Action Jack.
ISO Joe, isolation with the first points for the triplets. So Avery for Trilogy. You have Isaiah Briscoe, Amir Johnson, and James White against Joe Johnson, Ryan Hollins, and Jeremy Pargo. Briscoe, what a year last season. Johnson, push shot, in and out.
Yeah, Briscoe, here's a kid that went undrafted in the 2017 draft. I coached against him when he was at Kentucky. Just like Joe Johnson on that play, you'll see Briscoe getting to his left hand trying to get downhill. He's more of a driver and a slasher.
Big question, whenever it's ISO Joe, how do you defend him? Nice look to White. Hits another 3.
Yeah, but passer makes the shooter. That's what we were talking about. You got to know who you're defending. Briscoe's a driver, nice drive and penetrating pitch.
Briscoe, just 26. White against Johnson. ISO Joe leans in, scores, and the foul.
In that situation, you can see White is saying, hey, where's my help? I need some help here. Come over. Rotate.
1 shot for Joe Johnson.
So Joe Johnson, a couple of buckets here in game 1. Scal mentioned the jumper in Boston. Came in late December 22nd, 2021. Celtics giving him a 10-day hardship contract. And wouldn't you know it, at the age of 40, 18th NBA season, hits the late 2 to get on the scoreboard. What a moment it was at TD Garden that night.
Yeah, the fans really just were so kind to Joe.
Briscoe with the fall away.
Briscoe, whenever he's making that fall away shot, he's going to be hard to guard. It's going to be a long game when he gets his fade away and start making a few threes. He's
Pargo with the teardrop. Hey, no early rust here to begin game 1. Jeremy Pargo last year with Threes Company. Briscoe on the attack. Bumped. And we're going to block the foul on Ryan Hollins for the triplets.
It's amazing. It's 3-on-3, but you still have to play the correct pick and roll coverage. Are you going to force it down or force baseline? Some people call it push. Or are you going to force it middle and switch? Or are you going to use a surprise trap?
Briscoe had Johnson for a moment. Way off the mark. Never hit the rim. ISO Joe out of a double. Fargo over White. Banks it in.
And in situations like that, Pargo's going to have to make a few three-point shots because those lanes are going to be closed if they play him for the drive. We know Joe Johnson is going to draw a ton of attention.
Big screen, White on the attack, scores, and the foul. And James White trilogy, tie game at 10.
And that's what we were talking about in our open when we showed the highlights of James White. He plays well through contact. Here's the foul, finishing around the basket. Veteran players just are really magnificent at doing this. Some of your younger players, they'll be satisfied with getting fouled, but not James White.
Veteran of 3 NBA seasons, James Flight White. 3-point play, and early on 3 ties and 4 lead changes.